gifted panelists. And if you need to use the restroom or you need to go outside and get some more tea or cookies, feel free. So, our good friend Gail from Skirball has a few announcements to make, and then we'll give away our first prize, right?
Good evening, everyone. Hello. My name is Gail Acosta, and on behalf of my colleagues here at the Skirball, I welcome you to tonight's event, hosted by our friends at KIRN and Iranian Hotline. We are honored that you have joined us here at the Skirball, a place of meeting dedicated to inclusivity, hospitality, and the Jewish tradition of welcoming the stranger. I wanted to let you know about a few upcoming exhibitions and programs that might be of interest to you. If you haven't already viewed our current exhibitions, Fearless Fashion Rudy Gurnick and Black is Beautiful, the photography of Kwame Brathwaite, be sure to visit before they close this Sunday, September 1. Our fall exhibitions, Through a Different Lens and El Sueño Americano, open on October 17th. Through a Different Lens features photography by the renowned filmmaker Stanley Kubrick, and El Sueño Americano features evocative photographs by artist Tom Kiefer that illuminate the experience of migrants in the U.S. and explore what it means to reach for the American dream today. We are also excited to present programs with the Persian and Iranian community in mind. Back in May, we proudly presented the legendary Kayhan Kalhor and Ali Akbar Muradi live in concert. And mark your calendars. Coming up this spring, on April 19, we present another stellar concert, featuring oud musician and composer Rahim Al-Haj and tar and sitar virtuoso Sahbo Motalabi. Visit skirball.org in February for more information. For now, thank you all for your time. Have a great night, and we hope to see you back at the Skirball very soon. Thank you.
I want to introduce Shada from the Iranian Hotline, also Alvarez, our program director.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to our business conference and networking event. Thank you all for coming. We have a great lineup tonight for you. Thanks to our wonderful speakers taking your time in here and sharing knowledge with us. And thanks to the entire team at Radio Iran. It's truly a pleasure working with you all. And I hope you enjoy the rest of the event. Matt,
Me?
Asr Shalom, a very good evening to you all. On behalf of Radio Iran, KIRN, and the Iranian Hotline, I wish to welcome each and every one of you. It's a beautiful turnout for an event in the midweek evening. My name is Shahrzad Ardalan, and I work for 670 AM KIRN, and I keep saying it. Life is beautiful. And I hope getting more and more beautiful every day. A good radio is a radio that people listen to, and a great radio is a radio that listens to its audience. And this is exactly what we're doing. And in order to ease a major concern of the community and educate them more, to bring more success, more prosperity, and more good old American dollar back home, we're going to learn a lot tonight. And we have wonderful speakers who are going to share their expertise and experience with you. And I hope by the next meeting we get together and I see you, you're going to be 10 times more successful than what you are today. Before we get to our speakers, let's share the experience of one of my co-workers, a great friend of mine, a person who's in charge of the programming of 670 AM KIRN, our dear friend, Mr. Ali Reza Eknacha.
Wow, this one is much better. So what I want to say, my colleagues already announced it. So let's start to کلمه فارسی. حالتون چطوره؟ خوش آمدید. چند نفر برای اولین بار دارید تشریف میارید این جلسه؟ Perfect. خب امیدوارم که این جلسه بسیار براتون مثمر ثمر هم واقع بشه. خیلی ممنون شهرزاد جان و ممنون از تدریس‌های خوبمون. امیدوارم که استفاده کنید. یادتون باشه که رادیو ایران به روی موج FM HD هم از همکنون هست، یعنی اگر در ماشیناتون میشینید، ماشین 2014 به بالا 95.5 HD3 try it with a great quality و نظراتتون رو حتما به ما اعلام بفرمایید. خب شهرزاد جان خیلی ممنون، مرسی. Thank you so much. Bita, Mark,
It's truly a privilege to introduce the first speaker, an accomplished and wonderful lady, known to a lot, very active in the community. But I have asked everyone to send me a short bio because every speaker is quite accomplished, and since we want to enjoy their talk more, I'm going to kind of get into the introduction and offer you the short version of it. Recognized as part of the 35 world-changing women by Conscious Company magazine, Bita Milanian is a respected marketing executive who is passionate about giving back to her community. She currently serves as the Senior Vice President of Global Marketing for Ribbon Communications and previously held the post of Executive Director of Farhang Foundation and is also the founder of the creative and consulting agency Butterfly Buzz, which she still operates as a means to continue her artistic, her humanitarian work, support up-and-coming artists, as well as non-profits to enable them to increase their profits and optimize their brands. A passionate community organizer, Bita actively volunteers her time and expertise in support of numerous causes and organizations and is a popular speaker at various conferences and programs on the topic of technology, philanthropy, art, culture, social justice, and gender equality. Ladies and gentlemen, let's be popular.
Yeah, that wasn't so short, Shahzad. Thank you so much for always being so kind and loving to me. Wonderful to be here. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm going to ask a question or make a request. Come on, join us. Don't be so far away from us. We want to have an intimate, fun conversation. We talked about this with the panelists. We don't want to make it too formal. So get closer. Let's all have a lovely evening together. So I'm going to jump right into it. Thank you so much. Yes, let's give yourself a round of applause. On a Wednesday afternoon to be here in the LA traffic and coming and listening to us, and hopefully what I have to present will be useful to all of you. I'm sure their talk will definitely be useful. And we try to do it in a flow where, what I talk about flows into what Mark is about to speak about, the Misafjan, and same thing with Fiona. So my topic is branding. Who can tell me, I was actually asking a few friends earlier, what does the word brand mean in Persian? Who can say how we can translate the word brand or branding into Persian? Name tijari. Anybody else? حالا میشه product. فارسی کلمه فارسی شد. وجهه تجاری. وجهه فکر می‌کنم به ذره شاید درست بشه. به خاطر می‌خوام اون وجهه the brand, the branding of yourself or your business. That's what we're talking about. So the topic is be the brand. How do we be the brand? So I'm going to give you a few examples to get started, to kind of get the ball rolling as it relates to what a brand or branding of an individual is. The first person I want to represent as a brand is Audrey Hepburn. Her brand was strong. So I've been working in the branding, marketing, media, entertainment and philanthropy world almost all my entire adult life. I started working professionally at the age of 16 and entered the corporate world and what I do today at age 22. So I've been around, yeah. Am I still 22 or something? So yeah, it's been 23 years. I made this point for you. So identity is so important, and the identity is destiny. So how you set yourself up and who you become in the long run, with Audrey being a great example, is so important. So in her case, even though she was a talented artist and performer and actress, she also had this other identity, which we know as a strong brand today still, with what she did with her humanitarian work, being the ambassador of the United Nations, and today that brand being that strong, yet feminine brand still carries on even though she's no longer with us. Branding is also unique. So brands stand out when they're offbeat, sometimes they're shocking, always dazzling, and true even when, for example, for Lady Gaga, her identities have evolved and changed over the years. But she has built her own unique brand and identity that billions of people follow. In branding, you also need to be authentic. So in the case of Lady Gaga, we remember her, so she's memorable, right? In the case of Michelle Obama, she's authentic. So every brand, every powerful brand has to be authentic for it to be accepted, for it to truly succeed. So in the case of Michelle Obama, she wasn't just a first lady. She also had her own authentic self as an identity. She was an attorney, she was a graduate of Princeton, she's a wife, she's a mother, she's a friend, she's a communicator, and in communication is what makes everything come to fruition in a proper and correct way. And that's how you build a valuable brand, by communicating. And communication applies in everything, not just in your marketing and your business, but also in your personal lives. That I can vouch for. In branding, you also need to be relevant. David Hogg is a great example. He was just a student who survived the Stoneman Douglas High School shooting, if you guys remember, in February of 2018. Following that shooting, he has since taken gun control as his way of, as an advocate against gun control and all that stuff. So not against, but for gun control. So he has built his own following, and now millions of people follow him because he has become this advocate through this incident that happened. But he built his own brand, and it's what's carrying him forward is by being relevant to that topic. So there's no replacement for a true story. So it's important what you do in your business or in your work life to be true and authentic and relevant. Another great example, being attractive in your branding. So Ariana Grande is not just a singer, she's not just a pretty face. She also, has been building her brand since her Disney days, since she was an actress and performer then. But then she found herself in the center of a terrorist attack, if you guys remember. And as a young woman, she chose to rise to the occasion and to try to turn that incident into something that she's passionate about and that's something that she can speak for. So you can be beautiful, you can be an entertainer, you can be a public figure, but you can use that platform to do so much more within your brand. So being an advocate in that arena is part of her brand. Another great example, a dear friend, someone I've been following for years and I've had the privilege of meeting, is Yara Shahidi. How many of you know Yara? Yara is an Iranian African-American young woman who started acting at the age of 6, and I met her at the age of 8. And right there and then I knew that she's going to be something. So I started the hashtag Yara for POTUS. So I know she's going to run for presidency one day. Because she's not only a talented actress, but she's again used her platform for advocacy for human rights, for social justice. As she was turning 18, she started an organization called 18 by 18, which promotes young people, with herself turning 18 to start voting and becoming active in the social scene in the community and being a valuable member of the community. Again, she's not just a pretty face, she's not just a smart woman, she's not just an actress who's accomplished and winning awards left and right. She's also using that platform as her brand. So when I think of Yara Shahidi, I don't think of her just as an actress, but I also think of her of all these different things, which makes her even more attractive. In branding, you want to also be different. Think different, a phrase coined by Apple, is very well known to all of us. Most of us carry one of those phones, right? But a little fun fact about that tagline, different or think different, is that think different was an advertising slogan used in 97 to 2002 by Apple. The campaign, created right here in Los Angeles by a PR agency or advertising agency that they use, was a piggyback to answer to what IBM used to use as their tagline, which was think. If you guys remember IBM, the word think was their tagline. So how do you differentiate yourself but be aligned still and be relevant? So all of these different things play a role. And today, Apple is a consistent brand. They have stayed true to what they have begun, and they continue evolving that same quality, efficiency, consistency that you see in all of their products is seen across all of their platforms, whether it's in a store where you go to shop, whether it's within the packaging that you see, and they keep making it more beautiful and more dynamic. So that's being a consistent, different, dynamic brand right there for you. Finally, your brand also needs to be meaningful. ACLU is another great example. They may be a nonprofit that are supporting so many different important causes, but when we think of ACLU, their ideas they're just not a brand. Branding is not just for things, but it can also be for ideas, or it can be for a nonprofit that we're going to talk about in a few minutes as an example. So I just wanted to give you a little bit of a highlight of what different sectors of branding consists of. It's not just one thing, rather a series of different areas that all come together to be the brand, to be the change. So Be the Change is actually the name of a blog that I've been writing for a while. I've taken a break, I just haven't had much time to write about it. But being the change can be so effective in so many different things that we do and how we apply that in business, which I will again get into in a few minutes. So you can be the brand. You need to first believe in the product and the services that you're representing and that you're selling in order to be impactful. So you don't have to be a big corporation. Sometimes people have reached out to me. Well, I don't have the budget that a big company has to be able to build my brand. Well, those things we have solutions for those these days. So we're going to get into that in a second. As Oprah said, you're a brand, and you're a brand. So if you believe that you are the brand and representation of your service offerings, then people will start believing in your product. So Ribbon is the company that I work for. So we're a real-time communications company. We service 80 countries and have presence in 25. We are a backbone. I'm going to simplify what we do. We're the backbone of every single carrier that you can think of around the world. We are the infrastructure for those companies. For example, AT&T's of the world, T-Mobile's of the world, and so on. So it's important for us to, in a B2B, business-to-business environment, to be relevant, to be consistent, and to be fresh and relevant. all the things that we just talked about. So Ribbon is the merger of two companies, one being Gemband, which is where I started working in 2014. I transitioned from the nonprofit world, being back to the corporate world, and also a company called Sonus in 2017. The two largest, probably one of the two largest companies within our sector, decided to merge after many, many, many years of negotiations. So as you can imagine, two $500 million companies coming together, there's a lot of integration, a lot of changes that need to happen for us to become one. So developing the new name and the brand was part of my team's responsibility, which was a very exhilarating, very exciting process. And to be able to get the two CEOs of the companies come together and actually believe in the story that we're about to tell as one company was quite a, amazing experience for me personally. So we got the concept together, we figured out what we want to tell as our story, and how we want to be represented in the marketplace, especially being now becoming a public company as a result. So it was truly amazing to go through the whole storytelling process, who we are becoming as one. So Ribbon was, we came up with the name Ribbon because we were tying together two companies that are ever evolving, and probably we will have more acquisitions and more integrations, which did happen within actually a year. We have two more acquisitions. So we thought through how we're going to develop this brand, made sure that we're vivid, all of our branding is consistent. We wanted to make sure we use modern colors, as you can see here. So it's just a very beautiful journey to be able to go through this and being able to execute properly, and it's still ever growing. It's not something that stops with our, with just that one branding kit that we put together. So that branding kit continues to evolve as we move forward in the marketplace, trying to stay relevant with the different content that we create. That Misafja is going to touch on the importance of content, I believe, and what it is now. We're not talking about content today. So
You're doing such a great job with so much detail.
no, I'm trying to go quickly because I think there's so much more that in this, but content is key. So my team is, I also own the digital production and digital marketing for the company. So as you can see, our website, you can go to this website 2 days from now. There will be new content on there. Same goes for our social media presence. We make sure that on a daily basis we're putting out the message. It's a lot of work. Some people, come and look at a company's website or social media, or just, when you're following some of the brands that you like, the teams behind them that are on a daily basis. I'm sure many of you receive emails on a daily basis from your favorite, stores where you shop from, online brands. There's a lot of work that's happening behind the scenes to stay consistent and have that outreach with our target audience. So consistency and following through and having interesting content is so important these days. We put out really large events for our customers, and again we carry that brand and that messaging throughout all those events. This is one of our most recent events that took place in DC. This is where we bring in all of our customers from all around the world, and we talk about our products and messaging and what's important and how we can help them be successful. So yes, it was a big deal for me personally. It was a great experience for me to be able to be a part of that rebrand process, through which I've learned so much. We did work with an agency, we did spend millions of dollars, but it worked, which is important. That same model applies in a small business. So we're going to go into a small business example in a second. But before that, I also want to talk about the importance of grassroots marketing and building your brand through any other environment, in a nonprofit environment, for example. So with Farang Foundation, when I started working with them in 2009, when they just started, obviously we're a brand new entity, and social media wasn't as strong as it is today. Today, when you start a company, somebody I was just speaking with, they started an Instagram account on a specific topic that they were passionate about, and within a few months, they have a huge following and interest because it's become that much easier to build the brand. But back in 2009, it wasn't as easy. So we have to become creative in what areas we want to focus in and tap into the community and do outreach marketing to develop the brand. And one of the first projects that we worked on to develop the brand was the Nowruz banner contest. I'm sure you've seen those beautiful banners. They're still going on. And that particular, I'm using it as an example to build the brand. We engage the community. So in other words, we engage our customer. Our customers, our target audience. We engage them to get involved with the development of the organization, which in turn develop the brand. So you can do the same thing with your business. How can you be proactively do a program with your customer base or your target audience, whether you're an insurance company, whether you're any other, an attorney. There's different ways where you can proactively reach out to your target audience and engage them and get them interested in your products or offering. We quickly, we had all of our social media presence, with YouTube's at the time and other social brands that we tried to use. But today, I'm so proud of the organization to see where it is today, and it's continually growing, and the team is doing such an amazing job. And the community is benefiting from that. So kudos to all of them. So this was an example how you can become a big deal with a very small budget. And that's what we did. That's how we made it work at the time, being a nonprofit and being a startup mode at the time. Speaking of startups, 2019 has been yet another great momentum for many startups. So we see many of them getting from mobile app technologies to so many other startups that have come around since the last round. So with that, there are a lot of entrepreneurs, there are a lot of individuals who don't have the big multi-million-dollar budget that we had, for example, at Ribbon, and they still want to have that clean, fresh, consistent brand out there. So this is an example of a startup company that was officially established June of this year, and they're already taking off, and they're doing amazing work. Activist Connect was founded by two individuals, husband and wife team, who used to work in the corporate world, and Felix built cloud contact business centers, cloud contact centers, for most people who know when you call somebody to, let's say you call your insurance company. I have my beautiful friend Evan here is in the insurance business, so I keep thinking of insurance. There has to be somebody on the other side that helps answer your calls. So that's what this company does. They offer call centers. So the two of them worked hard and built the company together. This is them, Felix and Minerva. They quickly, they were very authentic in their approach, and they used their network to build their brand. And the network is what they had built for years working for the corporations that they work for. So they took the ideas and they put it together. They were authentic about it, and they putting out a lot of relevant information out there by sharing their experiences of their different customer bases. Quickly, Starbucks got their attention, so they're now a customer of theirs. So this is a simple example to show that you can be a small business, but if you're authentic and you put out enough content and relevant content and are true to what it is that you're offering to your audience, they will notice you. I'm going to wrap up because I'm getting the 2-minute wrap up. I'm going to leave you with 10 things. I'm going to go quickly to the 10 items. I'm just going to read them together. A brand to love starts with you. That means you have, again, to really firmly believe in what it is that you're presenting to your audience, for your audience to also engage with you, to become interested. Jump in with passion and enthusiasm. Don't be afraid. Even if you fail, you learn from that lesson. But it's so easy to succeed these days, I promise you. There's so many tools out there and so many examples out there that you can contact, you can tap into with the amazing platforms that are out there, and people that are, familiar with what you're also going through. Again, broken people you love and trust. Don't be afraid to ask for help. People who are good, they want to help. So find good people around you who just want to help. Differentiate and communicate. We touched on that. Use social tools. Don't be afraid, but use them properly and be consistent. Care and share. What you do for others, they will do for you. So be sure to be giving and caring at the same time. Social responsibility makes a huge difference in every corporate business that you see out there. Get the idea right, meaning do your research before you get things going. Get the words right, meaning make sure that copy that you put out there, whatever it is that the message you're putting out there doesn't have any typos. You've done your grammar check. It's as simple as that. People notice those things. get the design right. There are so many platforms out there that you can actually design things on your own. Just create that, template of yours and just stay consistent with that pattern. And then let it grow. It's your baby, you build it, you let it grow. Thank you.
We have our second drawing, and I'm going to let Bita choose the next winner. And the prize is on behalf of the Skirball Center for 2 adults, 4 children. You can either go to the museum, Audrey Museum, with 10% discount, or you purchase anything you wish at the cafe, and drawing a day with 50% discount, and the winner is
Parti Basilista.
Salon Diana. Jenna Party was
My good friend, that's why.
our good friends. We keep the business card. Thank you so much, Sandra. Thank you. Do you want to have any questions answered now, or leave everything to? Any questions for Bita? The gentleman in front. بفرمایید شما برو.
خانم میلانیان، I'm wondering شما چجوری میتونید به یه استارتاپ که کسایی که اینجا هستن کمک کنید؟
خودم شخصه؟
Yes. Or would you even do that?
So I wish I could, as much I would love to do that, but it depends on the type of business that is seeking consulting.
Right.
So it depends, as long as there's
So you
no
would do
conflict, yes. Yes. I have another company we don't talk about, it's called BMG Consulting, so that's what that does. So.
ایمیلتون رو اگه بدونید.
Oh, I didn't go to the end. So Bita Milanian, you can just look me up on any social platform, I'm there. Yeah, no, I'm just saying, like, you just look me up, and I'm very good about answering. Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook, thank you. All of the above. I promise to answer.
همه شما
I think everybody.
available هستیم برای
Connect with her, you connect with everyone.
Thank you. Great question. The young lady there.
I was wondering how would you achieve the competitive advantage or competitive market for the company you are representing?
So is this for your own business, or are you
For
saying?
any company you are representing,
Competitive
any brand,
advantage.
yeah, how would you achieve the competitive advantage, or which property, which attribute of the company you would use to, take the
Sure.
competitive advantage?
I think one
to
of the
achieve
most
it
important-
in the competitive market,
Okay. It's a great question. How do you stay competitive in a market space? Number one is you have to get your customers to really believe it. Having your customer service satisfaction levels is number one. Because once you have your customer satisfaction there, meaning that you're offering quality service and what have you, doing outreach to them and asking them to be your advocates and giving you testimonials, whether it's in writing, whether it's a video. So we do a lot of customer testimonials and video. And that goes a long way. And these days people are not, they love visual content. They don't like, reading much. So that's one way to do it. So I think one of the most crucial part is being, if your product is already competitive, there's not too many other products alike, or if there is, staying obviously with your pricing and your, it's a much larger scheme of things. But I think if you are authentic with the service offerings and with your quality of service, I think that's a huge differentiator right there, especially if there's multiple competitors out there.
What about the attributes? Which attributes of the product would you use, to be more competitive?
I mean, it depends on the product. I mean, we have a tangible product, whether it's a phone or it's a service. So it all depends on what it is that you're offering. So it's not as simple of a question to answer as far as attribute, but we can definitely chat about it.
Sorry, one last question.
One more question, last one, but at the end of the sessions, you're more than welcome to stay and talk to the speakers in more detail.
So my question is this, as a startup company, how would you gain trust of your customers basically? How do you, what should you do basically for the customers to trust you to come to be your customer?
It's not easy. I'm not gonna lie. It's not easy at all. But what it is, that's why you have to get your first 5, 10, customers that are really going to be your advocates in the process for you to use as your case studies. In the case of activists that we just talked about, they were consistent with what they were doing, and the word got out, and actually Starbucks contacted them. They didn't reach out to them. So it's so important that as a startup to really proactively identify who you're going to sell your products to and get them on board. Sometimes you have to do it for free, sometimes you have to do it at a fraction of the cost, but getting those initial, ambassador customers, if you want to call it, to get them on board, to use them as your, way of opening doors to others, that would be my first probably step.